I dropped off Better Call Saul, in how many seasons of that are there?
5.
So I've probably dropped off that in partway through season 4 or something, I reckon. And that was a really good series, but I should watch the rest of that at some point. It's been years since I've watched it, so I can remember where I got to. I got to the point where it's not Saul. I mean, his name is Saul, but what's his real name? It's
Jimmy McGill.
Jim. Yeah, him and is it Kate, his girlfriend, or is it what's her name?
Kim.
Kim, that's it.
Kim Wexler.
Yeah, where they're stood on a balcony throwing beer bottles off it, which, yeah, it's like
it's a vibe.
No.
#relationship goals.
Yeah, so that's where I got to. I think the reason I dropped off it was because it was starting to feel a bit samey. Like a lot of the episodes leading up to that point they didn't really feel like they progressed his character or the story much. It just felt like they were cycling around the same type of stuff. So I think that's what made me lose interest in it a little bit. But I should finish it off because I think I've only got like another season and a half or something, or 2 seasons to go or something. So
yes. So I mean, this is quite a controversial opinion. I thought Better Call Saul was very good. I didn't like the ending at all. I mean, the last half a season. It's not that I don't think it's good. I don't know. I didn't really like it. That being said, I don't tend to like prequel-y type things.
It's hard to pull them off, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you always get to the end of the aside from Star Wars Episode 1, 2, and 3, which are obviously flawless. You always get to the end of a prequel and find things kind of being squeezed into the shape they have to fit to fit the thing that comes after. So I'm not a big I'm not. I don't know. Prequels never really seem to hit with me that much.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I actually, for Better Call Saul, even though I haven't finished it yet, but I prefer it to Breaking Bad, actually.
Yeah.
I think we've discussed this before, but I think not all the characters, the main character is more likeable than the main character in Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Because we said previously that, Walter White isn't likeable at any point in that show.
No.
It's not like, a descent from a admirable character into a bad guy. It's he was unlikable to start with when he was pathetic and weak and just off-putting because of that, and then he just transitioned into a different kind of unlikable.
Yeah, I mean a much worse kind.
Yeah. So the main character I never really. I mean, I think Jesse was more of a likable character in that series.
Yes, I mean he was, and certainly in the later seasons, he was the human element of their partnership more so than Walter.
Definitely, and I think I liked Hank actually.
Yeah, I mean Hank is a very popular character.
Yeah, and I think the reason I like him so much, and possibly the reason he's popular generally, is because not only is in the first episode he's kind of framed as this kind of douchebag kind of stereotype, isn't he?
Yes.
Where he's carelessly passing his gun around for Walter to look at, and he's got a lot of bravado. He's loud and he dominates any environment he's in.
Yeah.
But as the series progresses, you realise there's more to him than that. He's actually quite an admirable guy, and he's got principles, and he's strong-willed and all this stuff. So all the douchebaggery is just surface level, really.
Yes, it's more like a facade to fit into the environment he finds himself in, because that's the kind of character that he has to play almost.
Yeah, and he was a good family man as well, wasn't he? He took good care of his wife, and he was always very attentive to, if I remember correctly, he was very attentive to his nephew, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, he was just generally a good guy all round, and it was yeah, it was nice to sort of have that underlayer exposed. I think that's why I like the character so much.
Yeah, no, he was a cool guy.
He was, yeah. Yeah, so I think as well as, I mean, even though it was done very well, the kind of like, like gangster type story that Breaking Bad revolved around, it's not like new as such, is it?
No.
Whereas I think Better Call Saul felt a little bit more novel in terms of the story. It was very... it was actually, I mean, one of the things about it was actually very inspiring to watch him watch Jimmy come from this position of nothing essentially, and through like legitimate hard work in some cases, climb his way up into becoming a lawyer and getting a job at a reputable law firm. That was a genuinely inspiring story that sort of felt just like nice to watch. It was cool, and it was cool watching this kind of, I suppose, like stylized kind of environment of lawyers like fighting the law or fighting with the law, and it was just a cool thing. But I might say it's possible that his descent into crime or further crime than he was already in might be. I might like that less than the way they did it in Breaking Bad, because I think in Better Call Saul he was just like he just liked crime more than he liked like he liked doing things the wrong way more than he liked, like he worked really hard to get that like very prestigious job, and then for no reason he just throws it all away just because he can't be bothered to stick it out pretty much.
Yes, yeah, and I mean it's funny because as well, one of the differences, and I think one of the reasons that Better Call Saul kind of feels, I don't know, better to watch is because Jimmy is a much more entertaining protagonist than Walter ever was. And
he's a more admirable protagonist than Walter ever was as well.
Yes,
isn't he?
but also like literally just he's funny.
Yeah, he's funny.
And like you can. With Breaking Bad, it always felt like Walter exists within the wider context of his arc, whereas like in Better Call Saul, it's just kind of funny to watch Jimmy doing his thing a lot of the time, and it's like maybe an easier watch in that sense.
Yeah, I think that's true, and like I said, he does start from a position of being an admirable character and kind of descend into crime, because the way his character is introduced, even though he's like maybe a bit dodgy, he is really compassionate, and he's taking care of his brother who's got these psychological issues, and he clearly loves the guy, and he's doing the best he can by him and all that stuff, and that's on top of him working hard to become a lawyer and try and like legitimately climb the kind of like societal ladder and get a decent job. So he's kind of like doing everything right for the most part at the start of that series.
Yes.
So it's easier to identify with him, I think.
Yeah, and I mean it's a very good show, and again, even though I didn't like the last half a season, it doesn't mean that it wasn't good. It was very good.
Yeah, no, totally.